Thanks for staying with us. So we're talking about educational tourism today. And we're taking this conversation from the story we read in the papers in today's Vanguard, giving us some interesting data about the amount of children that gain admission into schools abroad and how much money we're expending to educate our children abroad. And I'd like, BC, you have the figures?
Yes, I have the figures.
Establish the numbers.
So they said no fewer than 12,860 Nigerians were given admission into American universities during the 2020-2021 academic session, and they spent at least 172.8 billion on tuition fees during the period. Right. This is exclusive of the tuition fees paid by other students in 200 level and above. This is just for new entry.
Right. Now, so the average is about $32,000 a year. Now, this is not even the 2019-2020 session. The 2019-20 session, let me see, we have 13,762 children that gain admission. In the 2018-2019, we have 13,423 children. And in 2017-2018, we have 13,693 children to travel abroad. Now, before we start this conversation, talk about saying that at some point, we are going to join the statistics, because there's a possibility that as we're raising our children to primary school level and into secondary school, we're likely to plan for them to also go. So it is almost standard for everyone. Once you enter American secondary school and you're done, there's a likelihood you actually go abroad for your BSc, or you stay in Nigeria for your BSc and then go abroad for your master's. Either way, our children are going abroad, but we're all going to contribute to these figures. And the question is, why is that so? Because even in this article, I think a group was encouraging Nigerians to ensure their leaders invest in education.
The ASUU president
was saying that we must push our leaders to invest in education, because we can't keep exporting young people abroad to gain education when they can actually have it locally. And all this money that we're taking abroad could be used in Nigeria to develop our economy. So what are your thoughts on this? And the reason why I want to have this conversation is that I was speaking to a Nigerian leader not too long ago, and I was talking about the amount of wealth he had built before getting into office. You know, he had a company, he worked in NNPC, he did this, he did that, and when he got into elected office at some point, then his children went abroad. Now, would I now say because he's now an elected politician, his children should not school abroad? He's not using the government's money to pay his children's school fees. I'm trying to establish the issues, because one of the reasons that the first solution is that leaders should not take their children abroad.
So first of all, we need to determine how many leaders children.
That's 13,000.
Yes. So how many of them?
You'll be surprised.
Are you saying that private individuals will send their children?
No. I'm saying that if we use statistics, and the statistics are very, very open, we see their graduation ceremonies. Our leaders don't even hide it. Once their children are graduating, everybody posts it online.
Exactly.
So how many are there? Government chairman, how many are there?
I know.
How many?
Whenever you want to resolve a challenge, you don't discuss with players, you discuss with the leaders. Don't have meetings with somebody that cannot change the situation. So if I go and say I want to change our educational sector, and I'm discussing with the ASUU, the lecturers or fellow individuals like me, we can't change the situation. The situation will change from the leaders. And at any point in time, it's a pyramid. As it goes up, there are less people there. But you see these people here, they influence what goes down
here. Definitely.
So it's important that if we want to change down, we need to fix up so that it will trickle down. And that is why the solution always feels like you're pointing towards our politician or pointing towards our leaders. Why are we sending our children abroad? It's not convenient. Like every day now, I know I have the next 2 years, 3 years to plan how I must build assets in dollars that will pay my children's university fees in dollars, because we don't have a system in Nigeria locally that I'm sure if my child goes through that school, it can compete favorably around the world. And that is the goal, that you build. You are raising global citizens. That's my own personal goal. I want to raise global citizens. And many of our politicians are like that too. Many individuals are like that too. Everybody that can get money, they gather everything together.
You know, I thought there's a data I came across, I think about a year or two ago. I can't remember. I wish I got that data for this show. They're saying that the Nigerians who are successful abroad are not the Nigerians who went to school abroad. Those who are really successful are those who started their BSc here. Their foundation was in Nigeria. They went abroad, did their masters, and they were able to. So those are the ones that are really, really the world changers that we're looking for. But those of us that took them early into the US and did their BS there, those just enter the American system and just become the average African American or in the system, and they don't usually try.
I think that's also interesting because I have had someone in the UK say to me that he would advise that the best time to bring your child be after they've done secondary school or done half the 6th year of secondary school, because they come there now well-grounded and understanding that this is an opportunity to do well here. This is an opportunity for me to come here and now do well that my parents have given to me. But when you bring them much younger, they don't understand that, see, here we're here to hustle, you know, this is normal. So I can see how that data corresponds to that. But, you know, I personally, I have no objections to people taking their children to school abroad. And I feel that it's something that, you know, anyone who can afford it, who feels that it's for the betterment of their child, that they can do it. Because I also feel that it affects our society as a whole, our country as a whole. But the only part that I have a problem with is I want our educational system to be such that other people can also send their children to our country, because there's something that we offer as well. There used to be people who used to travel from abroad to come to our universities, to school, you know. Parents used to do that when they take you out of your country to another place, because it's you know, the horizon, it broadens your mind, you meet new people, new cultures, it's nice, it's good. When, especially medical institutions, they do exchange programs. They send, my mom used to say to me that, like, when they have Americans come to Nigeria, there are some cases that they never see in America because they don't have those sort of diseases anymore, and then they see those things. So it opens your mind. So it's not a bad thing to have that exchange of people going back and forth. But you need to make sure that it's not just that we're doing just because ours has become dilapidated, rotten, there's nothing left. It has to be that we're exchanging back and forth. So now the way to address that is, as you said, we need to now involve the leaders. We need to start finding a way to ask leaders to make some sacrifices. So we're not saying, you know, it's not your right, you shouldn't do it. But if you want to be a leader in our country now, because of the deficiencies that we have, what are the sacrifices we can make to make it better? Put your children here, because when your children are schooling here, you will make sure that these schools are doing the right thing, are providing the right form of education.
Let me go on a break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation, especially that point Maria made about, should our leaders indeed have their children in this country? Would they make any difference? Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So our hot topic today is still on the issue of educational tourism. And we talked about the fact that we have over 13,000 children who have been enrolled in American universities as of this year. And the figures that Nigerians have paid is about 8.8 billion naira so far. Yeah. BC, I've not heard your thoughts on this. What do you think?
So for me, every parent wants to be able to give quality education to the children. And that's one of the reasons we are working this hard. Honestly, some of us will just lie down and eat whatever we have, if not that we have children and want them to be better. Aside from the quality education, what we want to get out of it is to have children who are thinkers, children who are able to innovate, children who are creative, who are able to look at the society and give us solutions to our local problems. And if you follow the trend of the educational system, I think it was even better at the time we went to school using the public system. Compared to what we have now, we're seeing a steady decline in the quality of education. Our curriculum most of the time is obsolete. So in other climes, they are now reviewing and renewing their curriculum to attend to the problems of today. But we still have curriculum that takes us back 1950-something, solving the problems that no longer exist. So there's a gap when it comes to a child being able to think on their feet. We have the labor industry constantly complaining that the sort of graduates that they get are not able to fit in or do the job. They have to keep doing trainings over and over again. So we have identified that gap. And that is one of the reasons parents who now can afford it will prefer to send their children abroad to get that quality education, which is okay if you can afford it. But now we have a problem in our system. which is we lack quality education. Our schools are no longer up to date. They are not at par with international best standards, not anymore. And we want to solve this problem. So what's the solution? It will start, like Tope said, from the top. Policies. Now you want to serve. Nobody asked you to come and serve. So we need to, stabilize this. Nobody asked you. You decided, okay, this is my country. I want to come in and change some things for the betterment of everybody. You are supposed to make some sacrifices. That's the only way we can get people, because when you do not feel the pinch, it's easy Mariah, please let me land. It's easy when things are happening to people around you and it doesn't affect you personally. When it affects you personally, when I know now, like Mariam was saying before we came on, that if BC knows now that she wants to change the educational system and she wants to become the local government chairman, and I know that there's a policy or a law that says once I take that position, my children will not school abroad, I will ensure that the school that they are going to, things will happen, things will change. Let me give you some statistics. The national budget, 2021 budget proposal to the National Assembly, we had 13.0 trillion budgeted for next year, and we have just 742.5 billion allocated to education, which is just 5.6%, the lowest allocation since 2011. So there's a steady decline. You will not ask people not to send their children abroad. But as policymakers, if we really want to change this, we need to start so that we can effect this change.
Okay, so there was something I was going to talk about, because there's always this perception that we have a horrible curriculum, and I've been argued over and over again that Nigerian curriculum can compete anywhere in the world.
Yes.
From the educational sector, they tell you the curriculum is at par. The problem we have is the delivery and assessment. We don't have teachers teaching it properly, and we're not properly assessing them, so the children are thinking, as you have said. So I think we can help if we can get somebody to come and either verify what I've said or not. If we can be convinced that we can push that narrative that our curriculum is accurate, because many children who receive that learning go abroad and they're stars. That's what. No.
I will argue with you. I will argue with you every day on this. We still have schools that teach typewriting. How
I don't know where they say
they are university.
We talked about it on the show. We have schools that teach typewriting. So
typing and shorthand.
Till now. So how updated is that curriculum we're talking about?
That school is not going according to our curriculum.
No. Secondary school, university level we're talking about.
No, it is left for the policymakers to ensure that the curriculum is at par. And how do you do that? Current trends are emerging every day. You won't do So 2 years ago.
I think what Mariah is trying to say is that there is a updated curriculum. But the schools are not doing it.
Some schools are doing it.
That will take us back to what Afe Babalola says, that we have some schools that are illegal. So it's not just in structure, it's also in things like this, what they are teaching people, and NUC needs to sit up and making sure that those schools are identified.
I also wanted to answer you. When we always sit here and say Nigerians, when they go abroad, they do better. The educational system here is tailored to take care of the very intelligent children. What about the children who are the creatives, who do not even understand? No, they are creatives. They don't even understand the school system. Absolutely. Are we ready to take care of them? And that's why we see that the A stars, the A students in our schools, they don't do well here. The people who employ them are the third class.
I get that point. You're very correct. So you teach a child biology because you expect the child to become a doctor. Really, you should be teaching biology to educate the child on how the body works. So the body, so that's what they do abroad, where they just teach you. So, for example,
that's what we do.
No, for example, now my commissioner wishes an example where in a Nigerian, if they tell you to draw, they draw an eye. Nigeria will tell you to label every single thing, right? Yes. Now in abroad, they just should give you two eyes and tell you which one has an issue. Because if you know the one that has an issue, you understand the features. You already understand the features. So that teachers understand the teachers understand the eye, not to label the eye. They're two different things. So it's just that the curriculum is there to teach you the eye, which is the curriculum. But it's the delivery of it and the assessment. That's what's not making that child understand. That's a different thing. Coming back to the issue, to our leaders. Because the argument I was making with you during the break was that I am a leader. I have money. You've checked my code of conduct bureau. I've certified me that I have 10 billion naira in my account, sitting, chilling. And I'll say, because Nima, Tokwe, BC are saying that, now young people, please go into politics. Join. I said, okay, my child is in secondary school. Let me to go and join politics. And then I can support them. And I go in there to do my work as a politician. You now tell me I should send my child to Nigerian school because I've volunteered my time, expertise, experience to become a leader in Nigeria. Is that fair? That's the question.
So, yes, I think it is. Here's what I'm going to say. It is unfair to expect that people that might have money but are enjoying the perks of office will not be willing to take the full haul of the sacrifice necessary to build the nation they say they want to build.
I don't understand.
So when you become a politician, support the ideal sense is I have gone into office, I desire to solve the problems and serve this country. Of course, it is sacrificial.
Yes.
If you decide you want you want to get into that office, then you make the sacrifices necessary. We need to make it unattractive to be political. We need to make it unattractive to have political position. We need to know that anybody that says I want to go there is making huge sacrifice.
Now work you
that way, as it is right now, many people don't even trust our leaders. We don't trust our leaders. We don't believe in the sincerity of their purpose being there. And so it involves a way to win back the trust of the people. And there is nothing that would the day that I have to eat, when you cook a meal this is the meal I'm giving away to my security people, this is the meal Oga would eat. The day when we decide that every meal that we are cooking in this house is the one Oga would eat, you will see that the soup will have originality inside.
Right now, you are doing very well. You are building a business,
yes.
Right? A business success. Tomorrow, they encourage you to become maybe a politician. And you now tell them, because I'm a politician, your children will not go. So that dollar you are saving.
I will not go into politics.
Now today, I'm not going into it. But there'll be a time where young minds like yours are needed to change. And they say, please throw yourself into the ring, and you must, because we need your intelligence, we need your ability, your maturity. So would you now say that dollar that you're saving, that you're trying to build now? You know, say, sorry, my children cannot go to school abroad because I'm now. I'll answer that question after this break. I have this caller. I'll come to you. Femi is a whole for a while. Femi, are you there? I'm so sorry, Femi. Please forgive me. Let me go on a break. When we come back, we'll continue with this conversation.
I won't trust you. She'll put her mouth.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing education. I think
yes, I was going to go. Number one, it doesn't take a year to cause the change we need. Actually, we underestimate what can happen within 1 year, and we overestimate what can happen in 10 years. Within 1 year, with a team of all the National Assembly executives, knowing that we have to eat this soup. This soup called secondary school university, we must eat it.
In a few months.
The bad school, the same way, the letter, do you know how many months the Queen's College School wrote letters, the PTA wrote letters to the Ministry of Education, to the minister, that this school, we have issues, people are falling sick, there's some things that are dilapidated, and it wasn't acted upon. When all of us know that this soup, we must eat it, then we must ensure that we put all the right ingredients within it, and you will see major change in months, because everybody will now sit up and do their work. We are not lacking resources, we are lacking management, adequate management of the available resources. So if we manage it well, everybody is doing their job, you will see massive improvement in what is already on ground, because what is on ground is not bad. It's just because we don't take it serious that made it seem to be getting worse.
Yeah, it's getting worse. Call. Femi, are you there? Hello, Femi, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Good
You're
morning.
live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, morning to talk DC, Moraya, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, it's a very interesting topic. And one thing that we know that I would like to say is Nigerians are very smart people.
Yeah.
Whether we school here or we school outside Nigeria. Have you ever noticed that Nigerians here, when they travel out, even if they school, if they probably had their university education and they travel out, they go out to be the best outside there. So it shows that we are very smart. I've been in office, I've worked with people that school outside Nigeria. The only thing they have that is better is the fact that they are more exposed. They are not smarter. They are not more intelligent. In fact, people here, the only thing we have here is that we have a lot of people that are not, a lot of guys that are not serious. But if you can get the serious ones here, they are very, very good. They perform better. And I think this said something about training. The truth is, there is no how you bring people into any company that you not train them. It's the core of every company. You have to train people how you work in your company. It's different from how you work in any other place or any other client. So yeah, whether the school abroad or the school here in Nigeria, when they come in, they have to be trained. So in that is on that aspect.
All right. Thank you very much, Femi.
Yeah. Yes.
Comments on the.
Yeah, I wanted to say that the problem we have with our educational system is not like it's that bad. And I know Miriam wants to highlight all the good parts of our educational system. We, all of us here, except you, we schooled in Nigeria. It's not that bad. But there's a very important crux of education that we are missing out, which is the highest level of intelligence, and that is creativity. Till we get it right, no matter what we do. Nigerians will travel and go there and do well with the conducive environment, with everything given to them. You see that we are naturally smart people. Nobody's arguing that. And our government likes to, harp on that to say that, hey, but you people do well when you travel out and neglect what they're supposed to do. We do well when we travel out. Are we innovative here? Is our educational system allowing us to solve our problems here? That's how you know that your educational system is doing well. If you can solve problems, if you go to schools and you see lecturers coming up with things and they're solving problems. So hold on, that crux is handling the creative part of that child. Now, the children who do excellently well here are the book smart children. The people in the middle, those ones who are actually the innovators and creators, how God has made them to be, are usually neglected because of the way our educational system focuses on paper qualification, paper test, ability to recall. Memory and recall is the lowest level of intelligence anywhere in the world.
And they are the stars
here. So let us they are the stars here. And that's why we can't innovate, and that's why we can't create. So if we can harp on that, and that's what happens when they travel. So you see very dull children here, when they go abroad, you see them excelling because those people find a way to connect with that creativity of that child. That is what me I'm fighting for when it comes to quality education. Till we get that right, we'll just be doing book smart, paper smart. So it's not helping us.
So from what you're saying, there's a large chunk of young people that are not getting the best of the education because our educational system is focusing on the A class ones who are book smart. But this group here, which are more, are not getting from this education system what they want because they just go out and there's nothing for them.
Yeah,
they fail the
book
examinations, but they're actually creative people who are smart in other ways. I get your point. Yes, Mara, let me get a few more comments.
I just wanted to add that I know that maybe someone listening who does not live in Nigeria will be thinking, my God, there's no education in Nigeria. It's horrible. It's not that bad. There are different levels, and I know that the private sector has stepped in many ways to, block, to take care of some of those gaps. But for those of us also who schooled here and who schooled in the public system as well, we can say that, it worked for us and also provided sort of like a firm foundation for when you get to travel abroad. So you are equipped also to be able to work under, tough situations, and you have resilience because of that. But the only thing that's the problem right now, that while we're having this conversation, is really about delivery, as you mentioned. It's about the execution of what it is that we have, the maintenance of what it is that we have. And also, to add to that, is the reward system. We need to find a way to better reward people in the educational system, students, people that make children that excel in education. We need to find a better. Do you want to take a call?
Yeah, I want to take a call.
Let me just.
All right, let me take this call from Lara. She's holding for a while. Lara, are you there?
Hello, good morning.
Morning, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Educational system in Nigeria is a big one. My own opinion, for every policy maker, you want to serve us in this country, your children must attend the school system in this nation. There's no two way about it. You are coming to serve. So there's a sacrifice you must give to serve. And the sacrifice that you must pay is for all of us to be in this system. Any other way, my sister, is no way. It will not work.
All right. Thank you, Lara. Thank you, Lara. Mary, I'd like you to take up on that because, finish up with your point. I'd like you to take up.
Okay, so to finish up, I was going to say, the way that we reward. And another thing that I find that is a major problem, as you said, we learn to cram, we learn to regurgitate what we have read, but we don't understand, how to apply. To apply. So you would have gone through university, finished with the 2-1, but you're unable to write an application letter. You're unable to interview properly. So those are the things that I think we need to incorporate when we are, in our educational system. Abroad, they have a lot of summer jobs and things like that. They find themselves working. Yes, you find you're working in the labor market while you're in school. You understand the language of when you get out of school. Because no one is going to sit down with you and be asking you demand and supply directly like that.
So those are things you have to find how to apply. This is based on what this caller just said, and the data you gave us, 12,000 people, children. Let's just say pata all our leaders, 2,000. Their children, out of these 12,000, 2,000 belong to our leaders. 10,000 normal citizens, we the people, are sending our children. Now, the problem is that 172 billion is being spent. Now, are you going to tell we the people that we should stop taking our children, but to support the Nigerian economy? Because it's one thing, education sector is a different matter. But if you are asking your leader to be as patriotic and sacrificial, that you're a leader now, and you're a Nigerian now, please let your child say you're a leader. You're a Nigerian. Please, let that money, that your economic money, let it stay in Nigeria. Can I also ask you, as a people, the same to make sacrifice?
But Mariah, that's not the problem.
Let me come.
It was me. Sorry. That's not the problem. We want to spend our money where we get value. That's it. You don't even need to ask us. If there's value there, if there's value in Okokomaiko, I will take my money there. Simple. That's what the private citizen is going to do. For a message, we're trying to send a message, and we're trying to build we're trying to make things better. The only way you can do it is by those who have the power and the authority to make a difference. And those who have the power and authority, they may just be few in number, but they have a lot of influence and they have a lot of impact. So that is why we're asking them. And it will not be, and I don't want us to see it like, let us punish these politicians for daring to be politicians. That's not what this is about. This is about, let us ask the politicians to look at it our way. Sir, this office has provided you with some perks, has provided you with some
ability to solve the
things, Can you take advantage of that office and the perks that it affords you to help make a lasting impact? Yes. Because of your influence, you're able to take your child abroad, but that is just one child. Can you use your office to make sure that this will be something that affects many other children apart from your children? That's what we're asking.
A note I took was that we're losing so much money to education, tourism, and making nothing back. Before you even mention that, that's the crux of the problem. We have shortage of dollars, and we have a lot of people are sending their children abroad, but we're not making anything back. If we were making money, if we had other areas in the educational sector that people are coming, and it is easy for us to create this. Our art is beautiful. I went to Yabatech, and we have the arts department, and we used to have foreigners come to study what we did in our woodwork and what we did with our metal works. Go to Benin. The University of Benin can create a major educational tourism from our art sector alone. They look at our art abroad. We're bringing them back. I'm saying that we can educatively, the minister can say that you can take your money abroad. You see, this money will make ×3 just on art alone. And they will create a system that will bring educational tourism to Nigeria for the sectors where we are good. A willing mind will find 1,000 ways, and a willing mind will find 1,000,000 excuses until they are willing. And what makes you willing? You have no choice. If you leave me inside this room and say, find a way out, Mariah, my nails will become claws. I will dig my way out of this place.
Can we then, that's just 1%. Because if you look at the number, I can't value the money that will come in. But we're talking about 172 billion that has gone out. Now, art is not going to give you 172 billion. That's one. You see, let us be realistic.
So what we give?
Let us just say that. And the point I'm trying to make is that the government has to, just like you said, be creative. There has to be other avenues of bringing back this money. It's not through that art. Because I don't know how many universities have that opportunity to sell 172 billion worth of art. That's one angle. The point I'm trying to make is that if all of you have exported your children abroad, can those of us that went before come back? The few batches that went before, can they come back? Because the truth is that we all finally go. How are we going to bring back? They come back to build the economy. Come and start invest in the agricultural sector, invest in education. We're talking about invest in health.
That's another level. But there's this level where we used to have a lot of children, even from secondary school level. We used to ship them abroad to boarding schools abroad. But I hear that the numbers have dropped. Of course, with the increase in the dollar rate and everything, many people have brought their children back. But we're not giving the private sector kudos enough. There are people building schools and making sure that they building an educational ecosystem that sort of mimics what you can find abroad. So your children are here and they are schooling here.
But getting the same quality.
Yes, and then you're spending that money here. Nigerians don't want to just go abroad just for going abroad's sake. They're going abroad because they're looking for value. And we're saying that if you give us that value here, we'll leave our children here. Children are schooling here, primary schools, secondary schools, in the schools that they feel best will best capture.
You haven't answered my question.
What's the question?
The question is, you and I are demanding and asking our leaders, because you become leaders, please don't tell your children to go abroad. So you are a human being, to stay here. Eh? I'm not saying me. I have the ability to take my child abroad. Once the child finishes abroad, let me too. Then the politicians tell Morel, bring back your child to Nigeria to come and work, because both of us are being sacrificial, that we're patriotic. I'm not taking my children abroad. Your own child that went abroad, let him come back and invest.
Right. The problem is that you're dividing them into two. The leader is still the same Nigerian, the same person, the same one person. We're in this together. This is not about sending your child and you staying back. We're not punishing anybody. I'm saying Nigerians are already making sacrifices. Private citizens are using their money to build schools, to create good schools for people to stay here.
It's not everywhere.
So that's the way that they're also making their sacrifices. They can use their money, go abroad and do schools abroad.
I'm not spoken since. Yes, unfortunately, we have to end this segment. I'm sorry, this is not we have to end at this point. But we can't end this conversation. We need to obviously bring it back up because it's a going concern. You know, Nigerians obviously will continue to send their children abroad until the educational sector is revamped. Let's go on a break. When we come back, move on to other segments. Stay with us. We'll be right back.